Hello and welcome to Yellow Sticker Dinner, the channel where I try to make a meal out of whatever I can find in the reduce section. Today I am going to use some ingredients that I picked up previously. I'm going to have some cauliflower, some celery, some spring onions. I got these all from the vegan fritters video, which I will link up right now, somewhere in the top right hand corner there. Those ingredients were incredibly cheap, and I made some lovely fritters using some diced soup. But today I'm going to make some vegan buffalo wings with a vegan blue cheese dip, well, a cheese dip anyway, cheesy style dip, with a couple of celery sticks on the side. Homemade dip. I'm going to do a battered cauliflower as well, because I've played them in the oven before, and they just don't really have that same crispiness that you get from being deep fried. And I'm kind of in the mood for some junk food tonight, so I shall have some junk food. I've already gone through the liberty of washing and preparing my veg. I'm just going to make this much for now, and I'm heating up the oil. And while that oil is heating up, I'm going to start making my dip. And my dip doesn't require any of these ingredients. So I shall get my little ramekin jar. And the dip itself, super simple. I'm going to use vegan mayo, which I picked up half price. $4.39, I got it for $2.19 a couple of weeks ago. The lid is a bit broken, but it still works absolutely fine. So I'm going to throw in a nice squidge of that. And then I'm going to... this lemon, if you watch my roasted broccoli video, where I made some roasted broccoli pasta, I will link that up here. I zested it for that video, so I'm just going to use some of the juice for that one. A little bit of garlic powder. If you want to, you can use fresh garlic. And I actually do have fresh garlic in my fridge, but I just can't be bothered. I like roasting, I like cooking it up. I don't like having raw garlic in a dip like this. A little bit of salt, some pepper, I like pepper, and we'll throw in some of these nutritional yeast flakes. I've had these in my cupboard for a long time, and I'm starting to get use out of them since I've become a vegan in the last couple of weeks. I made this dip, like I said, for the vegan fritters, and it worked out really, really well. I think it's going to work even better for buffalo wings. And I'm just going to thin it out with some oat milk. And that's it. Super simple. Takes 5 seconds. Let's just stir this together with a little fork. And if you need to, you can kind of adjust the ingredients, taste it as you go. That looks a bit too thin for my liking. So all I'm going to do now is just add in some more vegan mayo. I probably put too much milk in, or maybe some. Ooh, I spilled a tiny bit on the table, but that's why pencils have erasers. I'm just going to make sure this is all stirred in first. Give it a little taste. The flavour is there. The flavour is there. As I said before, I think if you never had nutritional yeast, it's a common ingredient for vegans as a cheese substitute. It's kind of got like a cheesy, nutty kind of flavour. Now, is it as good as real cheese is very debatable. As a recent convert to veganism, I say no, it's not as good as real cheese. But then again, I was a vegetarian for a couple of years before that, and I now prefer vegan meat. If I ever have real meat, I've been served it by accident recently enough, and it's just, I don't like the taste of it anymore. I just can't really, I've lost my my palate for real meat. So that dip is still a little thin. I definitely put too much milk in there, but that's okay. I'm going to put a tiny bit more mayo in. Probably rushed it because oh, there we are, see that? I probably rushed it because I know that my oil is cooking in the other room, and you need to be very careful when it comes to oil. So I shall be careful when it comes to that oil. You don't need a deep fat fryer to make deep fried food. You just need a pot and some attention. A high tall pot is better than a shallow pot for obvious reasons. But yeah, okay, that's definitely thicker. Not as perfect as I would have liked. Do you know what? Let's move on, because we got to make some batter. I'm gonna check that oil. I don't want this oil getting too hot, because I'm gonna cook these in. I'm gonna batter the. Woo! I'm hitting stuff with my bottom. So my batter is gonna be just a really. Let's get a spoon in this. Super simple. Flour and water, and some smoked paprika. So 2 tablespoons of flour, a very nice, generous sprinkling of smoked paprika. If you want, you can add some salt and pepper in there. I'm not going to bother, because I think sometimes I have too much salt. And then just stir that all together. I should actually use my fork again. And then I'm just going to add water as I go. And I'm just looking for, hopefully not a consistency. That's actually not a terrible consistency for the batter. And then if I need to add more flour, I'll add more flour. If I need to add more water, I'll add more water. And I'm just going to basically make a batter that's thick enough. That's too thick, so I definitely need to add more water to this. But I'm looking for a batter. I nearly put my dip in. I'm looking for a batter that's thick enough to grip onto the cauliflower and to surround it and hang on. So that's probably a bit too thin now. So a little bit more flour. You know why sometimes things just go right? You know when like you're just having a great day, everything's going right? Well, this is not one of those days for me. But it's okay. It's all good. I'm eating very cheap food. That's getting there. It's a bit thicker. See the way it's still like a tiny bit thin, just a little bit more flour. And you know, you can find a recipe for this. I don't really bother with recipes too much. You know, I mean, it would have been a lot quicker if I had gotten a recipe. You can also put some garlic into this if you wanted to, which I don't know if I'm against that. That's better. That's a nice, thicker consistency, and probably right in the nick of time. Let's put this in the sink for now, and then I shall go in with a. I'm gonna have my tools ready, because when I start frying, I want to pay attention to that hob. And I'll get a little bowl. Actually, you know what? Let's get a plate. Kitchen roll as well. Okay. So, gonna bring up a little assembly here. These can sit over here for now, as can they. So the oil, I don't know if you can see or not. Basically, if the best way to find out if oil is hot enough is with a thermometer. And if you don't have a thermometer, that is the best way. I don't have a thermometer. The second best way is to basically drop in a tiny bit of batter and see if it bubbles and floats to the top like that. That's what you're looking for. So it's a good temperature. And I'm just gonna quickly coat these cauliflower stalks. And then, you know, you can put them in with a spoon if you're a bit scared here. No harm, no worry about that. And then I'm just gonna gently drop them in, not from a big height. You know, we don't wanna start splashing oil all over the place. And then I'll just do 4 of these for now, because you don't want to overcrowd the pan. I'll do a small one. If you got a bigger pan, you can obviously do a bigger pan. And do you know what? I've never actually made these deep fried before. Genuinely, I've made them in the oven plenty of times, but like I said, they always just get a bit shriveled up. They're always a bit kind of soggy. They don't have the same kind of the texture that I like for a deep fried wing. And then now that that's all in, I'm just going to coat the rest of these here before I wash my hands, because I'll cook these up after. But again, I'm not going to turn my back on that hob for too long. And I've got two tools here. I've got a pair of plastic tongs and a slotted spoon, and I haven't really decided which one I'm going to use. Probably the slotted spoon, but maybe the tongs might be best. But I've got them both ready, just in case. And basically you just want to cook them up until you get a nice crispy batter. They're already cooking pretty well. The reason why I don't want this oil too hot, I mean ideally I want this oil to be like 160, 180 degrees Celsius. 180 degrees is so, I think it's 350 Fahrenheit, 375. Don't quote me on that, I'm not 100% sure. I think 375 Fahrenheit, 350, I can't remember. 350, let's go 350. But basically you're looking for, I want the batter to cook. That's looking great, by the way. I'm very happy with that. I want the batter to cook and crisp up, but it's also important that the cauliflower inside softens a bit, because I don't want to be eating raw cauliflower. You know, I don't mind raw cauliflower, but it's not my preferred method of ingesting this stuff today. I want to get a nice cooked meal. Okay, keeping an eye on that, and then I'm just gonna. Oop, nearly threw in the wrong bit. Make a couple of celery sticks. They'll do. And then I'll just quickly chop some of these up as a pure garnish. Okay, that's good too. I'm going to check these again. You know, a smarter thing would be to kind of do all the prep work first and then just purely keep your eye on these things. But it makes for a slightly less interesting video, which is why I'm doing it all backwards and sideways. But yeah, so basically they're not getting a nice color. I can feel that they're crispy. They're looking good. I need to make my hot sauce. So I'm going to put on the left front. Very carefully turn that. I'll move this over here away from the heat. My left front hob is on. And for the hot sauce, I've got literally two ingredients. I've got some vegan butter. I'm going to get a fresh knife for that. I think that is a very generous amount of vegan butter. That's going to go in the pot. And then this is actually Frank's Red Hot, which is right here. I've got this big giant gallon of it. And I just decanted it into an old sriracha jar, which I washed out. Not jar, bottle. And then it's just literally mixing some Frank's and some butter and just warming it up, really. You're not doing much to it, you're just warming it through. I'm going to check my wings again. They're looking good. They're looking very good. I'm happy with them. I'm going to keep them on for just another minute or so, maybe even less. And then want to keep this going. I just want to melt the butter into that, stir it through. And for that I shall use my tongs, because I can then take them and just kind of move them straight in. Let's have a look at these. I think these are done now. I'm going to turn this hob off. And I'm also going to take it off the hob. Off the heat, sorry. And I'm just going to use my slotted spoon, drain as much oil as I can. I love Frank's. Just Frank's Buffalo hot sauce. You can buy the one that's like winged flavor, but the only difference is that it's just regular Frank's. So I'm just gonna pat dry these a little bit, try and remove any excess oil. Like these will not be healthy, but let's try and make them slightly healthier. But yeah, you can buy the one that has like wings flavored Frank's, but the only difference is that it's regular Frank's with like, you know, artificial butter ingredient flavors, and you're better off just doing it yourself, even if you use real butter, you know what I mean? Like, it was only a couple of weeks ago that I would have been doing this with real butter and real blue cheese. So that's that. You just want to melt the butter in. You're not looking to like really cook it down or make it too thin or anything like that. I'm just gonna turn the hob off and leave it on there for a second. Sorry, I just licked the spoon there. I love that flavor. Nice and vinegary, nice and spiced to it. I'm gonna get a little plate ready for myself. Did I take out a plate already? I did. I've got that plate. Perfect. And then I feel like I actually forgot to do this, but I want to put some parsley into the into my dip. If you have some like fresh parsley, that would be much better. But I don't have that, so we gotta make do with what we got. I put my fork in the sink because I'm a fool. I get another fork. Sorry, you know what it's like. I don't do any prep or plan work for any of my videos, by the way. I just kind of, you know, before I start, I know what I'm gonna cook, but I don't kind of like, you know, I don't say like, okay, step 1 I'll do this, step 2 I'll do that, which is why sometimes I'm a little bit all over the place. And today is less fluid than I would have preferred. That dip is great. Very proud. Okay. So once these cauliflower wings go into the Frank's, you can hear that? That is the sound of a crispy battered cauliflower wing. Look at that. It looks like, that even looks a bit like a wing. Okay. I'm going to use the same plate. This can go in the bin. And then I'm just going to stir these around. Make sure that the wings get fully coated in the Frank's. If you need to, you can get in there with a spoon and spoon it over, but I think that's enough. And then I'll just go 1, 2, 3, 4 wings for now. This is just the first batch. This is just for the taste test of the video. At the end of this, I'm going to put them all on, and maybe even more of these, because I love these things. I can eat these forever. My dip, my celery sticks, and a couple of spring onions. And voila, look at that. Beautiful, crispy cauliflower battered buffalo wings, vegan, with a vegan blue cheese style dip. Oh man, I'm so excited for this. I love these things. Let's give this a taste. Okay. I ate that one whole. Cauliflower is nice and cooked. The batter isn't as crispy as I was expecting it, actually, if I'm totally honest. I feel like I could have went in there with some soda water or some beer instead. Maybe the carbon dioxide, I know that people use that for a beer batter. I could have double dipped them maybe. They're nice. That one's much better. Yeah, that's what they should have been. Maybe the first one was just crap. That's much better. Nice and lovely. I'm gonna take this one. Sorry. Yeah. Nice spice to it. The cauliflower, you can actually see inside there, is soft and cooked. It's nice, and there's a little bit of spice. You can taste like that kind of creaminess of the butter. The spring onions. Let's try the dip. which is a bit too thin. Mmm. Oh man, that batter is really crispy. You can actually see a tiny bit of the cauliflower there is like kind of charred a little bit, which is nice. Shows that it's cooked, not burnt. Mmm. This dip is superior. Well, super simple, super quick, super easy, delicious, fake away, and do the prices again, I think. The celery cost me 9 cents. 9 cents for the celery. There's the bag for the cauliflower. The whole thing cost me 37 cents. It was originally $1.49 full price. This cost pennies to make, and I've got loads of cauliflower left. I've got all that cauliflower left. I saved all the leaves because I'm going to do something with them as well. The mayonnaise was, the fake mayonnaise, the vegan mayo was reduced as well. This is a delicious, I've got loads left as well. I'm really, really happy. And that wraps this video up. Hopefully it was nice and short. Thanks for watching. Yellow Sticker Dinner.